Okay, so I think that yeah, we can start with this our session today. So hello, good morning from Slovenia. My name is Miro Pušnik, and I will try to moderate this, let me say, Slovenian session today, which will talk about research infrastructure in Slovenia in the light of open science. Here with me are my colleagues who will represent maybe the most important stakeholders in this matter here in Slovenia. So please, if you allow me, maybe that I now introduce them. First, Dunja Legat. Dunja is assistant director at the University of Maribor Library, and she's also a national representative in H2020 project, national initiatives for open science in Europe. Here with us is also Mojca Kotar. Mojca is assistant, Dr. Mojca Kotar is assistant secretary general at the Rectorate of University of Ljubljana, and she runs a national open access desk for Slovenia at the University of Ljubljana. Dr. Janez Štebe is assistant professor at the University of Ljubljana at the Faculty of Social Science, and he also had, this is very important for today, Social Science Data Archive, and he's also a member of the Research Data Alliance. And also Peter Sterle is Secretary of the Science Directorate at the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport of the Government of Republic of Slovenia. He's also a member of the EOSC Governance Board and acts as national point of reference on access to preservation of scientific information. And on the end, myself, I'm director, Miro Pušnik, I'm director of Central Technical Library at the University of Ljubljana. I act, let's say, in some international organizations, as for example, I'm a member of Coalition S Leaders Group in behalf of Slovenian Research Agency, and also I'm, for example, member of EOSC Rules of Participation Working Group. So we are the team today. Our suggestion is first to have a short presentation on current situation, kind of overview on open science infrastructure landscape here in Slovenia. And then after, we suggest a short panel about upcoming challenges in this matter. So if you agree, I will ask Dunja now for a presentation, and please, Dunja, it's your microphone.
Okay, thank you very much, Miro. I will share now my presentation. Okay. It's okay, do you see the presentation? Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for inviting me, Miro, to this panel today. As you said, we in the University of Maribor Library are partners of European Horizon 2020 project, and the main task of this project is also to establish the national community of open science in Slovenia. And I will today briefly present the situation in Slovenia today. So some minor data about our project we are working in. We are part of this blue region in Europe, Southeast Europe. So the project is dealing with these Southeast European countries. It began last year and is a 3-year project, so we have 2 years ahead to finish all our tasks from project. And what is the NIFOS, as we call our project, contributions to EOSC, key contributions. Most important is to facilitating the access to infrastructures, data, resources and services to users, not only researchers, to users in the widely sense. Then building, as I said, local, national and regional capacities to support development of inclusion of open science initiatives. Then transition of existing services and resources into the EOSC service portfolio. Also defining a set of operational best practices, rules and principles of managing services in research, data across EOSC ecosystem. A very important task is also the verification of our services in repositories and to, as the final stage, to include them into the EOSC service catalog, and which is a part of open air ecosystem. And very important is also to gain the knowledge about onboarding procedures to help the service providers to integrate their services in EOSC. Also, this knowledge we will gain within the project, and also we are building the training platform, providing access to online courses. We are educate at the national level about open science dealing with. So our first task in the project was landscaping of open science stakeholders and services in Slovenia. So we finished this in the beginning of this year, and we built some questionnaire and took the survey, and we provide with this survey insight in the existing open science initiative, infrastructure, services, policies in these NIFOS Europe partner countries. We identified a very wide range of stakeholders which are in Slovenia important in the field of open science, and also our result, the project team give the results to repositories in Nodo, and there is available as an open access data set. The result of this landscaping was also a map. Here you see the Slovenian map and distribution of open science stakeholders in Slovenia. Part of them, I hope part of them, because as we will further build the Slovenian catalog, I hope that these stakeholders will be more. But this is around 140 stakeholders answered to our survey, and they were from categories: public funders, higher education, research institutions, research communities, infrastructures providers, libraries, and publishers. And this is now the data set we will work with them to build the Slovenian community. Some data about state of art in Slovenia in this moment. I think the most important is that ministry will begin with the process of preparing the research and innovation strategy of Slovenia for the new strategic period 21-30, and this is important for us because also the chapter on open science and the related action plan, which will include access and preservation of research data, fair data provision, and EOSC relations, will be part of this strategy. And I think that all of us that we are now here, the panelists, will be also invited to contribute to this strategy. Other national facilities, research infrastructures, we already know there in Slovenia exist many European initiatives in the field of open science, science discipline specific, or subject specific European initiatives, and to connect them to one single point, access single point, or one form build, to work together is our main task. What about now briefly on Slovenia Open Science Community? Our partner in this NIFOS project is also Janez, and we are working now together in the field of establishing the portal for Slovenia Open Science Community. And our main goal is to connect non-Slovenian stakeholders in open science. Already exist as Slovenia Open Air Node, Air Node Slovenia, other European thematic open science initiatives present in Slovenia, Janez, Link, and many others. And we will invite stakeholders very soon to join the open science community, which will be based on voluntary membership. And the portal is in the preparation. How are we in EOSC in the European level involved? We are working almost in all EOSC working groups. We have a representative there. As Miro already said, you are the representative in the EOSC working groups rules and participation. Then we have also 2 participants in FAIR working group, architecture working group is our colleague from Janez. I'm working in skilling training working group, and in FAIR we have 2 representatives. These are our Professor Milan Oysteršek, we all know, and our colleague Dr. Anna Slavec. And what is the most important in the portal we will launch very soon? I said EOSC like Slovenian Marketplace, I'm calling this catalog on which we are working now very intensive. And this catalog will be built on 2 levels. Scientific discipline dependent or agnostic, the scientific discipline agnostic services, and they will be also categorized through these categories. They are present here: computer infrastructure and research equipment, software and web applications, searching and sharing of data, research data management, data processing and analyzing, security management, and training and support. This will be, as we said, bibliographic catalog, metadata catalog with links to services and infrastructures where they exist in full content, as I said so. And the main contribution of this catalog is that our researcher or user will have on in one point the information what can he use, which tools and services and infrastructures he can use in his research process, and for free or under some known conditions. And the last slide, near future of EOSC related Slovenia. We have in this moment many projects running in Slovenia, and they support the further developments of open science. This is the establishing of National Data Repository. This project Habitzer River, Open Area Advanced, our project NIFOS, Air Node Slovenia project finished in Slovenia in 2020, but the future will be integrated in future national strategy. Then is SHOCK project. University libraries joined together to build the joint online portal with useful information for open science end users called Open Library. And the newest one is URCC project. The partner is Janez, to build national competence center in the area of high performance computing. And I believe that there are many projects that I don't know that they exist, and I hope through this landscaping they will show up. So briefly from me for introduction to our panel. So thank you very much, Miro.
Okay, Dunja, thank you very much. I'm sure that there are many questions, but however, as we know, as far as I know, we have some time on the end for those questions and some discussions. So I suggest maybe that we start right now a short panel, a discussion between us about, let's say, some further challenges in this matter. So if you agree, we can now start with a panel. I will put some questions to my colleagues. Maybe we will do some discussions about open some dilemmas. And on the end, the audience will also have a possibility to put some questions and maybe some opinions about. So first, I will start with Mojca. Mojca, I would like to ask you a question about, let's say, our involvement into international projects. Slovenia is a very small country with relatively limited infrastructure resources. So my question is first, and this could be a starting point for another discussions. What is the importance of being involved in international infrastructure projects, such as, for example, is open air, where you have a very important role?
Thank you, Miro. Good morning to everybody from Ljubljana. And it's really nice to be in the company of PubMet friends and colleagues. Some of them are also open air partners. And first of all, I would like to pay my tribute to John Tennant. Many of us have met him. He was an intelligent young man full of passion, especially for open science. He came to Ljubljana in November 2016, and he gave a presentation. And on many occasions, he told us that open science is just science done right. So there is only one science in the world, and any country, and this is now already an answer, Miro, to your question, any country, big or small, has to cooperate. National research infrastructures have to be interoperable internationally. And maybe to tell something more, in Europe, this interoperability started with the driver projects and continued in 2009 as open air. The acronym open air means open access infrastructure for research in Europe. Currently, this last project is about to end with December 2020, and there are around 50 partners in this project from EU member states as well as associated countries. So open air is not only a technical infrastructure, it is a network, most of all, of 34 national open access desks which have enough knowledge to support policies or policies creation in the country, and to offer support and training to researchers or any other stakeholder in the country. So technically, open air is harvesting and data mining, and the results are visible at the open air portal. Yeah, so to reiterate, any country, big or small, irregardless of the size or number of contemporary research infrastructures, digital infrastructures, has to be part of the one world science, according to John Tennant.
Okay, thanks for your answer. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, yeah, we have nice memories on what Jon presented us, not only here in Ljubljana, also around, and yeah, great memories. It's very pity that he's not with us. Yeah. But I will also ask Janez about Research Data Alliance project. How has the project contributed to, let's say, progress in the research data management here in Slovenia? We all know this project takes now a few years, and this year, as far I know, the project is will expire. So my question is about, let's say, benefits of being a part of project, and what the plans with how to go further with to collaborate and participate in Research Data Alliance.
Miro, thank you for the question. I think we should differentiate between Research Data Alliance node project and Research Data Alliance as such, because this is Research Data Alliance is international community of people, practitioners in different aspects of data, dealing with data, if I say this broadly. So first, I would like to just briefly describe what we achieved and in a sense, I'm kind of claiming that in this short period of Research Data Alliance node, what we achieved is also something that we need to continue in certain direction that was already there.
Miro, Janeza se ne sliši.
Janez, ne čujemo te.
We have some problems with your voice.
Janez is muted. Janez is muted.
Janez is muted, yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's perfect.
Yeah, I didn't touch anything, but
Okay.
just now you hear me.
Janez, do please repeat some few minutes of your talking.
Okay, I was just starting to mention that the Research Data Alliance node project was very similar to Croatian one in the eras and emphasis that it took. So there were presentations about this project already yesterday, the Croatian one, and so I will briefly mention that actually in the project itself, and this is maybe a bit of difference with the Croatian one, was that we try to address and acknowledge the existence of a national open science strategy and action plan that was there for some years. And actually, with the project, we try to show that there can be a kind of bottom-up perspective also to this strategy and action plan project, in a sense that there are people who are, these cold-faced people engaged in different projects, can collaborate and actually bring into life certain concepts that are maybe there in the strategy can look very abstract. So we also kind of we actually try to establish collaboration between different disciplinary infrastructures. Something that Dunja also mentioned, that there are two types of people dealing with data. There are quite established disciplinary infrastructure. One of them I can mention is CESDA. CESDA is a consortium of social science data archives working on Europe, and I have colleagues in different Balkan countries that will know that CESDA actually started to grow and to have certain partners already in different countries. Also in Croatia, there is a data archive, and I think this is something that we can lean on for the future. So I will just mention three areas that we were very active in the project. One was so this coordination of disciplinary centers, but also trying to address the areas of science that are that currently don't have such support, and also we communicate with the general infrastructures for information exchange and so on. And so we actually didn't discover anything new. We just kind of reiterate this trusted repository thing and the FAIR principles, and then we actually try to start with the discussion about how to harmonize this in different fields of science or in assessing different kind of or types of data. The second kind of sub-project of the RDA node was this the journals and the policies of the journals were again similar to the Croatian story that we heard yesterday. We started with the research data policy framework from RDA, data policy standardization working group, and then but we actually went further on with this project in a sense that we adapted the general principles from big publishers to something what is the reality of a national setting of journals which are small and usually don't have a lot of support in technical sense and so on. So we try to kind of adapt those principles, and there will be a report hopefully also published in the data science journal about this project. So if anyone interested in this can explore it more further on. And the last thing I would like to mention just briefly is that we engage in data management planning as such in the realm of broader data management as such, and we try to stress in certain workshops that this is maybe the starting point where we can elaborate related to the future policies of founders, but we also try to stress that there is an important part of this, and here I can mention now again this generalist people who work in support of data management, principally the librarians and also some other people at the institutional level. So this is something that we try to elaborate also in adapting 23 things and similar things that are already elaborated in RDA, but need to be adapted in national settings. But in particular, what Dunja mentioned, also to build a community of practitioners there. So thank you for now.
Thank you, Janez, for detailed answer. Dunja, you described NIFOR's project on the beginning of your presentation. And as we see, many countries also from our region participate in this project. My question is, how can these countries, as they collaborate very much together in some different aspects, how can countries collaborate in this project? Does it any special point of view that countries from region could set, let's say, a deeper collaboration, and do they some benefits expected by such collaboration?
Yeah, this is very interesting question, and as I will say, this is not all countries in this project, but as I mentioned, our former country, Balkan countries, Yugoslavia countries, we are collaborating now with all of them. And this region is always interesting with for tighter collaboration, for example, common platforms, for common politics. And why not? We understand each other. We not linguistically, but I mean in many other ways we understand each other. We are colleagues, and why not? If you were asking me for this part of collaboration, a very interesting region for deeper collaboration, I will say. Why not?
Yes, because my question were put because of maybe some, let's say, practical upcoming issues. One of those issues is absolutely a new HPCA river project in Maribor. Yeah. And this supercomputing center will be proposed not only for local use, but also for usage for use in regional, so for wider use in region, as far I know. So this could be, I mean, maybe a good platform for that this collaboration could result with.
Yeah, this is one example, Miro. As you know, we are talking about also in common publishing platforms, and in this field of open science, it is very interesting because of understanding of languages, and to use this widely important scientific content, and to build such publishing platforms is for me a very interesting idea for this region.
Thank you. And yeah, everything is needs to be also paid. So funders have very important role in ensuring infrastructure. So with us is also Peter coming from Ministry of Education, Science and Sport. So my question now is that the government of Republic in Slovenia has been in the process of adopting a new law on research innovation of some time now. And also, as far we know, a new resolution on the research innovation strategy of Slovenia 2021 to 30 is also being prepared. So my question is, can you describe how open science will be represented in these upcoming documents?
Yes, thank you, Miro, for inviting me to this panel. As you know, the Slovenia has adopted first strategy related on open science back in 2015. This was national strategy of open access to scientific publication and research data. And also there was an action plan to put this strategy in life. This was action plan for implementation of the national strategy. And both mentioned documents will expire at the end of this year. So with those mentioned strategies, we actually try to address open access to publications. In the new strategy, we are also addressing, of course, open access to scientific publications. But more importantly, we are addressing the research data, open reviews, open research methods, open software, open education, use of new metrics for research evaluation, and we anticipate. We were planning to give some initiatives for researchers for publishing open data. And in new strategy, we also sort of arguing that open science is also based on cooperation within and between scientific communities, and that is rather than competition. And we are also addressing citizen science, which I didn't mention yet. So open science will be integral part of the new resolution on research and innovation strategy in Slovenia for period between 2021 and 2030. And as such will be adopted by national parliament. In parallel, or at the same time, we are working on new legislation for research. And also the open science is integral part of this new legislation. After adoption of new law, all scientific data will have to be mandatory open upon principle, open as possible and close as necessary. And of course, scientific publication will also have to be open as well. I would specifically mention just one article which we plan to implement in this new legislation, and it's connected to possibility to directly support projects related to open science. So we are planning to support all projects related to open science without too much red tape. Some tenders or call would not be needed, but we would need that this project would be anticipated in the new strategy about open science. Also, what is a very important element in adoption of both of these documents, like legislation and new strategy, is to involve the all relevant stakeholders. For this purpose, or specifically for strategy, the ministry is forming a special advisory group that would include all representatives from all relative research institutions or communities, established communities, such as National RDA Hub, and as well as representatives of infrastructure centers. That was.
Okay, Peter, hvala. Thank you. I'm sorry for this answer. I'm sure that there will be many questions on the end. We got some questions we will answer after. Now I just suggest maybe another, let's say, a round of questions, and then we will try to answer our audience. Mojca, a question for you. You are probably the most experienced on open science policies and implementation challenges of all of us at this roundtable. So my question to you is, what do you think will be the key for the breakthrough in the next programming period? Based on current practice, I would like to ask whether the policies are appropriate and how their effectiveness can be improved in the next frame of our next programming period.
Thank you, Miro. Okay, if you ask me, I'm totally enthusiastic about everything open. So I think that these policies for the period 21 to 27 are basically logical continuation of what has happened until now. So there was like phase progression towards full open science. As much as we consider drafts now, I think that they are appropriate, these new policies, and the effectiveness depends on how we will enable researchers or help researchers to comply with the new policies. Peter has already told us a little bit about Slovenian plans, and basically these Slovenian plans, they're embedded in the new European research area. At least at the University of Ljubljana, we can already see the draft new document for the European research area. And there is chapter 7 there, the priority 7, which is open science. And open science will be default in Horizon Europe framework program. And since we are all aligned, the framework programs and national research systems, this means that also EU member states will have to align with open science by default, but surely associated countries and any other country is invited to do the same. And the short description of new policies is that all digital objects from co-funded research has to be fair and openly available. And then it depends for peer-reviewed articles, it has to be full and immediate open access. And this also means national academic publishing. And then for research data, there is this concession that it can be as open as possible and as close as necessary, but obligatory preparation and submission of a data management plan. Then research infrastructures should be as open as possible. And two important categories, which are basically probably the reason why open science has not spread more around the world, not only in our region, is awareness raising, skills and training, and research assessment, which should recognize practicing of open science. So as Peter told you, and I have copied the link into the chat, there is already a draft new Slovenian legislation. This is the new law on research and innovation, and there is a chapter on open science.
Oh, thank you. Janez, based on practical experience in research data management, I would like to ask you, what is the importance of managing scientific data and knowledge sharing in a context of knowledge sharing, let's say? And how would you ensure the implementation of policies in future? Mojca told us about legislation, etc. But is this also perhaps the promotion of collaborative science and move from competitive to collaborative science? And is this maybe the solution perhaps in changes in the evaluation principles of scientific excellence and scientific work? So what is your opinion about how to go further with those questions?
Thank you, Miro. This is probably a very complex area to discuss, but I can give you a few hints about what would probably work in the future. One thing just to follow what colleagues before me kind of indicated. I think the collaborative science needs to be encouraged. Also, like I don't know if this is already in the plan, but for example, calls for projects that reuse data can also be encouraged, and this then as such that it can give the collaborative science more strength. And as we discussed already, Miro, there is citizen science can be also part of this collaboration, but not necessarily. There are data resources that can be shared and reused, and this is actually the point of data sharing. But there are other things I think that are important, and already also other speakers mentioned that there is something in the encouraging of data sharing if this is a requirement, if this is a default principle, and if then this is the same for all, because otherwise the one who shares data and collaborates is losing in the competitive environment if there is only a publication that counts. So I would say this, but of course the requirement needs to be then followed by these enablers, if we call them, like infrastructure and financial support for data sharing and so on, the knowledge training and things like this. All this is relevant. But we also discussed a lot the era where the data can be counted as publication. And I think all different models can be kind of joined together to actually to give the incentives to data sharing. Also, this counting of data publication can be something, but I don't think only on this the data publications as in a sense of in the data journal to have a data paper, but also something if the data is assessed and fair and put into the appropriate repository, this should be kind of acknowledged also in the bibliography. And related to this is the citation of data. And if we follow the citations, then we can also award the researchers. And the researchers actually are not so as my experience, and I think you will agree, they're not only eager to get funding, but they like to be, to have this also to gain a reputation, to be, recognized by their colleagues, by their peers, and so there is something also in giving the researchers this symbolic reward. And someone mentioned in the morning these badges that are in certain eras or journals already a practice. And if I'm mentioning journals, journals have an important role here also in encouraging data sharing, and then the publications in journals can have a greater impact if they are related to data. If data are shared, and then there is also this principle of transparency achieved, and reanalyze this possibility or reproducibility and so on. This is all something that can also, it's important in a set of values of scientific community, that we achieve certain quality through data sharing as well. And lastly, I would mention the institutions. Also, the institutions need to set up policies and kind of, because the institutions themselves can also show their output if they have good quality research available to share to others, and this can also count in assessment of institutions as such. So these are a few things I can mention.
Thank you, Janez. So yeah, very complex problem, but some cultural changes in research work are needed, and we have to support those changes and to promote those changes. Yeah. Now we have many successful projects around, not only here in Slovenia, also around. One of those projects are Archive of Archive of Social Science Research Data, which is where Janez is not only head, but also very active. And one of very, let's say, last projects which are run a few months ago is COVID-19 data portal. We live now in a COVID time, so it's very difficult. I hope that communities around are deal with COVID. It's very important that we support also researchers in this subject. Peter, your ministry started and gave initiative to run this project also here in Slovenia, and to involve this project to European COVID-19 data portal. Can you outline this project in a few words, please, if you don't mind?
Okay. This project of portal is part of European Commission and amiable EBI, that means European Bioinformatics Institute initiative. It also started with the involvement of EOS, governance board. And with this data portal, they plan to address a big challenge, how to quickly share and coordinate scientific data and to accelerate the development of treatments and vaccinations or vaccines related to COVID-19 virus. And at the same time, they are developing procedures. I cannot pronounce this word. How to make scientific data open and fair. So in practice, the COVID-19 data portal will enable researchers to upload, access, and analyze COVID-19 related reference data and special data sets. EU data portal should in practice now connect all scientists, all relevant scientists across borders and scientific disciplines. And as part of this initiative, we are in the process of setting up a national COVID-19 portal, which is quite interesting and excellent practice on open data. I can say that. Well, I'm sure that we will be successful on technical and organizational part of the project. The hard part of the project is gaining interest and trust of scientific data producers. And especially it's interesting dilemma how to achieve cooperation between researchers. And this dilemma is meant specifically for Slovenia, for example. I can see that in some countries with great or with longer tradition of sharing of scientific data, for example, Sweden, this is much less concern. Well, about support from the ministry, as you know, do not specifically finance this project for now. We rely on our partners in public institutions and scientific organization, communities like National RDA Note. But at the same time, we know and we are aware that scientists and organizations need funding to operate or to participate in that kind of projects. In the future, in that regards, we are planning to support the open science infrastructures, knowledge, cooperation, and this with funds from European Recovery Plan. And that is because in the ministry, we are in opinion that open science is a good science. And a good science is one of the key elements for social resilience or economic recovery after and between COVID-19 pandemic. And with these funds, we plan to specifically address e-infrastructure, data infrastructure, but most importantly, building new knowledge and skills on open data, and especially cooperation between organization, discipline, and scientists.
Thank you. And now we have 5 minutes. So it's our last question today, maybe for now, or last question by my side. It's for Dunja. Dunja mentioned a project which is also running right now, and it's in a phase of let's say setting up. It's Open Science Community of Slovenia. So what does it mean, and what can we expect, and how this Open Science Slovenia will be linked, connected to EOSC, and what can researchers, or better to say, how can researchers be active participants in Open Science Community of Slovenia? Dunja, please unmute if you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have said thank you, Miro, for this last question. I will answer as a conclusion of this panel or something. What is for me important, or I will say for this project, and hopefully for Slovenia, thank you to Peter to be an initiator 1 year ago, when 1 year and a half we met by Mojca office to talk about cooperation in this project, how to establish such community that will connect, link all stakeholders on the field of open science in Slovenia, because there are many of them. They are or were distributed in closed in their institutions, and we have to connect these to work together, to know each other, what they're doing, and to explore the achievements of others to all of us for to progress in day life, I will say, because open science is science, but it will or it already influence on day life of everybody, and we wish that this influence will be greater and greater. So this is my first benefit I see that we have started to talk, we have started to link each other, we have started to collaborate, and only together we can take us a big step, move further. So as for researchers, I said this in my presentation, I see the benefit that I hope, I assume they will have on one place, the informations, what they have in there, what can they use, or what we are offering them, which services, which infrastructures, which capacities, which knowledge and support and training to do the open science better, open research better. If they will show the interest to cooperate actively, to be a creator and user, this is a great combination. Why not? They are already scientists, they are making services, we will offer them to use to others. So this is, I will, and my team and all of you, we will work together that this community will be open as widely as possible.
Okay, thank you. So if I do some, let's say, if I summarize your answer, I mean, Peter mentioned before, and also if I know Janez, the most important thing is trust. So our task is to set a trustable environment where researchers will be able very easy to, let's say, translate research data, research work from, let's say, those close models to open and to put them to proper infrastructure. Yeah, now I would like to thank you to all four of you to, I think so, nice answers. I would now say that there is a Q&A application in the bottom where questions are coming already, but if there are any other questions, we are able, now we have, as I know, 10 minutes, we can answer on those questions. I'm not sure that everybody reviewed those questions before, so I can just maybe, if you don't, if you allow me maybe to repeat them, to read, and also those questions were also answered as far as I know. So first question, what criteria to subsidize Slovenian scientific journals? There are some journals with embargo, without open access for the whole community. Their publication is available at terminals, on library premises, etc., etc. Mojca answered on these questions, and yeah, this is problems of licensing agreements in National Library. So yeah, then there were put another questions. What is the influence of academic institutions, including individual researchers, on preparing national strategy? And Mojca also put an answer that Slovenian Rectors Conference and Slovenian Research Institutes associations have representatives in a group preparing the draft national strategy. So there is a link between, let's say, stakeholders, between funders and those organizations. Another question, could you please name Slovenian journals which have adopted mandatory open access, open data policy? Janez answered. Yeah.
Maybe I comment on this.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Because I didn't have time to elaborate very in detail the RDA note, this part where we engage with journals. So the key was actually that the disciplinary infrastructures that were active at that time, these are linguists in Clarin and historians in Daraya, and say the partners as we are, to actually to try to pilot the draft of the policy of the journal in their discipline, in their era. And so it was something interesting in a sense that then they elaborated very well the specifics of disciplinary era, but also what are the possibilities of the data provider, in a sense, the infrastructure that can then actually serve as a service there to actually not to put the burden to journalists themselves, but offering them kind of support and advice and everything. So I think that this is something that we need to continue, and we have plans in ADP to actually to promote this further on for the social science journals themselves, but also we can discuss this on the level of RDA if there are other disciplinary areas that want to be active here. And there is also the Agency of Research, I think, has a role here, because they are founding or partly founding the journals, the national journals, and then they can also set certain requirements related to this founding. And this is something I think we need to discuss further on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Janez. Then it was another not question but conclusion by Dr. Jadranka Stojanovski. Jadranka, thank you very much from my side as well. I mean, it's a great conference, and I'm very grateful and proud that and honored that we can be a part of your conference. And yeah, absolutely. I deeply hope that next year I will also struggling the view on your beautiful island, Ugljan, listening presentations in Zadar. So we deeply hope that next year we will be there. And yeah, but yeah, this, and also would like to congrats to all of organizers for perfect technical platform for this conference. And then there is a last questions in Q&A. It was addressed to Peter. So Peter, how is your view in citizen science in the sense that citizens not only participate in the research, but also co-author in the papers produced? Yeah, it's a really complex question. Peter answered. I can give a comment if you allow me. My opinion is that, yeah, it's very important that all publications in research papers are peer-reviewed based on standards, and that they're really trustable, and without any doubt that this is that they are made on some principles which are well known to us. But however, it's very important also that community is linked to, let's say, researcher society. That and this is probably this in the last years, by my opinion, the gap were increasing, and there is not problem only that let's say community, but also as we understand this community, but also some, let's say, users groups are a gap between users groups. For example, for now we have a library which is full of students. I'm pity right now, not because of circumstances, but they are sitting here. In other way, we have researchers which are accessing electronic resources via so online. So it's a problem. It's a problem that gap between some let's say user groups or some parts of societies are increasing, and we would like do not a platform here in CityK, for example, with our citizen science platform, not to get, for example, Nobel Prize or something, but we would like to give a platform for a community to collaborate, to have opportunity to do research, and it's very important that we share this knowledge. And also, what is important, people can learn by researchers a lot. We are now in situation here in Slovenia, I don't know how it's in Croatia, but here in Slovenia, it's very often that people which are not very skilled, but they think that they are smart, talk around about using masks, about vaccine, etc., etc. A lot of, let's say, volunteers which are very, let's say, smart via social media. And I think that a proper approach will set this trust we mentioned before. So this is from my point of view, but yeah, okay, it's my personal view. But yeah, on the end of the day, a publication in research paper should be made on standards which are well known. So is there any questions in,
there is another question.
Another question.
It's
addressed
to me. I don't know why, but this is impossible question to answer. But well, not quite. We are part of European research area, and I think that the all change in the evaluation processes will have to go within cooperation with other European countries. But also this is a question which should be addressed to our funding agency. We at Ministry, we are actually making decision on a strategic level, but the member of Plan S or DORA is our funding agency. If any of you want to add to this answer, please help me.
Okay, can I add just a short comment on this? My view on this issue is that, yeah, first of all, Slovenian Research Agency, all projects and also regular financing are based on international peer review right now. So this is true, but this is not enough by my opinion, because we mentioned before, we have to set a trustable environment. So this move from competition to collaboration is still an issue. Although we have a peer review, but then we have a lot of let's say local or sub policies which are made by some institutions, and many of those policies are still based on let's say impact factors, etc., etc. So it's a huge problem how to click, how to change this attitude, and on the end of the day, we are right now with in the middle of negotiation with Elsevier, with YLV, etc., etc. So it's not very simple, yeah. But it's important that researchers understand that the importance of sharing knowledge via open science solutions.
Miro, can I comment?
Yeah, absolutely, Mojca.
This change of research assessment is not really something that a single stakeholder would do only. So it involves the whole country, basically. It involves the funders, the higher education institutions, the National Accreditation Agency as well, because the universities, we cannot change our tenure and promotion rules unless they're within the framework of the National Accreditation protocols. So everybody has to be involved. And at the University of Ljubljana, there are some discussions, more internal discussions on this change of research assessment. But I'm very happy that the University of Maribor has signed the DORA declaration last year, or yeah, in June. And this has happened after a detailed discussion at the Senate of the university, and this is really very, very good. So congratulations.
Thank you. I wish to add that I think that Rectors Conference has established some working group on this issue of research assessment. I don't know if there are any results, but I think that they're talking about on this level of Rectors Conference.
Okay. So thank you, Mojca. Thank you, Dunja. You absolutely right. I agree. And yeah, I just want to mention that there are many aspects on which can influence on such systems. It's pity we can talk now hours and hours, but yeah, we have to close this session because we have another very important appointment by myself. Now it's another session where some sponsors will introduce them products and them solutions. So please attend this session as well. I would like to thank to all, first of all, to all speakers, but the most to organizers to do such great events at this really difficult times. And as I mentioned, next year I hope I will swim there in Zadar. And yeah, this is my one of the great wishes for this conference for next year. And also, what I want to say, stay safe, stay okay, and hope see you soon in physical way. Bye from Ljubljana.
Thank you, organizer. Thank you, Miro. Bye.
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 Thank you all the best.
Bye.
Bye.